I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, Alhamdulillah. What about you?
I'm good if you're good. How's everything?
Good. Everything is well, Alhamdulillah.
T-
Everything is fine.
Tell me about your Friday so far. How is it?
Well, Friday is the day of rest, family, and the day that I'm getting rid of the work stress. But although there are some chats on WhatsApp from here, from there,
Okay.
because the agent that I'm working with from multinational, so
hmm
some countries regarding Friday as a working. That's all.
Okay.
Spending
Is
spending
this
time with children, eating lunch, something like that.
is it because it's considered a working day as an international
Mm.
holiday? Well, it's a national holiday in Iraq, but abroad it's considered to be the end of the week, but not the end of the. I mean, the holiday. It's like
Mm.
Thursday for us here in Iraq. But is it
Mm.
creating some sort of conflict to you as a person who's working in the field of international communication here with people
No, no,
from
no, no,
abroad?
no, no, no. Absolutely no. I enjoy to do my business every time, anywhere, because this is the cause of my of getting salary, of getting money for me and my children. I
Are,
absolutely enjoy.
are your children getting money like you in your
No,
work?
no, not quite.
Okay. Okay.
They do not have to work and get money, but they have to study and learn
Uh-huh.
and start put their feet on the future of them.
Is it some sort of obligation that you force them to do to study, to keep studying and working hard to get
Of
to a
course,
satisfactory level, or you do not
of
interfere
course.
in their work?
No, no, no. Of course, I'm so care for their teaching, just like my father did with me. I want to do with them and to make them better than me. Although
How
I'm
do
a
you ensure
pharmacist.
that?
Mhm.
How do you ensure that?
Uh, I am trying to ensure that by offering them all the required circumstances for teaching, by putting them uh, uh, in the private schools, offering for them anything they need to teach well, to learn everything. Bilingual, I put them in bilingual international schools, something like that,
What kind
and
of
help them.
bilingual? What kind of bilingual school did you enroll your children in? Would you please
English
tell me a
school,
little
of
bit about
course.
it because I'm very
Uh,
keen to know.
e- e- English school, because I don't want them to be like me, try to improve the English language for myself very late, too late.
Okay, it's not too late, and you should not say that anymore. Okay,
Okay.
it's an obligation.
Because you are my teacher, or
You
because
just
I'm over the intermediate, upper the
it's
intermediate as a level.
uh well,
A good question. And complex one.
let me explain something to you regarding the categorization of levels in English. When we say
Okay.
somebody is an intermediate or upper intermediate in your case,
Mm, mm,
in some categories, not holistically speaking, because people can be advanced
mhm,
native speakers of English.
mhm,
People can be advanced. People can be native speakers of English, but their writing skills are in the intermediate or beginners level.
mhm,
Americans, British, Australian can be they are native speakers, but their writing can be considered as primarily primary or
mm,
elementary level. So
mm,
the categorizations that we assign and attribute to people is not to stigmatize people or to undermine or disrespect them. Um, some people in Iraq feel ashamed when people tell them that you are in the beginners level or intermediate level
mm,
or the
mm,
advanced level.
mm,
These categorizations serve the purpose of organizing students in groups. So when teachers talk to each other, they will say, well, I'm teaching the second group or the first group. This naming is confusing. So we need to choose a code. And this code is saying where we are teaching intermediate level or beginners or advanced level. See? So it is for teachers' purposes to help them make their life easier. Also, there's something interesting that nowadays we started shifting from telling people that you're in the intermediate level to say you're in the transitional level. It's less, it's milder, so people do not feel ashamed that their English level is rudimentary or primary. So this naming and coding is just for administrative purposes. It is not purely deciding that you are in this level and you are boxed in this level and you are caged and imprisoned in the intermediate level. Some people feel that they are in prison because we call them intermediate level. So that's not going to create a chance for them to work harder to become in the advanced level. Going from advanced to beginners to intermediate is very loose. Why? Because you can be advanced and leave practicing for 1 year and then you become beginner. And you can be a beginner and practice hard for 1 year and be advanced. So the transition is temporal. It is not purely something that has to do with your English level per se. Okay, so far this is related to our discussion of the idea of levels in English. However, this is not our major topic of discussion. I would like to.
Can I ask you a question, Walid, before we are starting our discussion tonight?
Sure, lovely. I would love to hear more questions.
Yes, thank you. Did you study the English literature at USA? Because why I'm asking this question, because I feel from your way in arranging the information and displaying for the subject that you want to talk about, just like you are affected by the English literature. Or maybe this is the way of the academic teachers. I don't know.
Osama, what you mentioned is very smart, but it has nothing to do with English literature. English literature studies the history of the heritage of people like poems, al-qasa'id, like prose, اللي هو النثر. Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Going back? Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I had to shuffle the kids to their room.
No, don't worry.
So the point that I want to mention here is that literature has to do with the nathar, prose, rhetorics, اللي هي بلاغة, something like that. I finished my master's degree in the United States in teaching English. And I've been very influenced by my professors there. And the way I'm talking to you and communicating with you is just a side effect of the classes that I had with my American professors and British professors there.
But it is not side effect, it's the advantage.
Well, so we have sometimes positive side effects and negative side effects.
Yes.
So probably the way they were tough on me, they were very strict when it comes to talking about the way you should approach the psychology of learners and their way of dealing with the materials that we're teaching, like language, should be cared first and primarily for their psychology before we transition to talk about the subject matter. Because once they are in more psychological, stable condition, we can definitely introduce some sort of good materials, and we ensure that the knowledge transfer is efficient. Teacher's role is not a source of knowledge. Teacher's role is a channel of knowledge between language and the learner's mind. Again, teacher's role is not a source of knowledge. His role, he is not the source of knowledge. Some people think of themselves as the source of knowledge, and that's not true. Teacher's role,
Transmission tool.
he's a
Transmission tool.
joint. He is a facilitator. He is just a transition channel between language that exists in society and learner. And he's trying to pull closer the relation.
Something in the chemistry learning, chemistry study at the college, call it the cofactor. The cofactor that help the two agents or two projects that going to react with each other in the equation, but has no role, just the transmission as a transmission tool.
Well, you can call the teacher a cofactor. You can call the teacher a catalyst.
Yes, catalyst.
A catalyst is an element that speed up the process of reaction and interaction between chemical components. And being a catalyst is going to help learners become more in contact with language and become exposed to language in a better way. And to be honest, it's really challenging. It is challenging because we're dealing with an environment where the language stimulus is very minimal. When you open your door and you go to work, you seem to never have any contact with English. So the stimuli, the language stimuli are very limited. So how do you ensure maximum amount of stimuli in classroom where learners can have direct contact with language and enjoy it and have fun with it and feel under pressure with it? All of these components should be generated with a magic touch of teachers. And I'm still learning. Like, I'm still learning from you. I learned from you and other learners. We are all learners. So by default, we have not acquired English as a language, and we're still learning it. And that's the beauty of this journey, that every day you wake up, you come up with different sort of experiences.
The journey of the life, we still try to learn everything until die.
Yeah, and sorry, I am shifting the direction of the discussion towards me, but
No, because this is the backbone of my question. It's related to you. Don't worry.
By the way, my major in bachelor degree is English literature and, English language. So probably that has something to do with that. But the point is, nowadays you need to document your work and to leave some legacy for people to see.
Of course.
It just saddened from the word sad. It saddened me that some very famous Iraqi professors in English do not have any legacy to be checked and watched and seen. Like, for example, Khalil Ibrahim Hamash. Like, when you go and Google his name, he's one of the pioneers of English language in the country.
Of course.
We do not seem to find any access to videos or anything that he documented about his lessons or classes.
Maybe the facilities of videos
True.
and the social media at their time is not like what we are living nowadays, Waleed.
Yeah, so this generation has more accessibility to visual media than written media. People don't read as much as they watch. People have the readiness to watch 2-3 hours movie or documentary, but they do not seem to have a session of reading for 3 hours. Nobody reads for 3 hours unless they have medical exam.
Yes, of course, you're right.
So it is really necessary to document the kind of work, and it also gives us a track of where we started. Like, if now I met you at the station like few weeks ago. I documented that video, so we can at some point go back to that video and watch your level of English and your level of English now, and see, draw some comparison to see if there is any progress, whether in your writing or in your response, in your verbal response. So
I
that's
want you to tell me if I got some progress.
this thing cannot be told straightforwardly. We have to take some exams, actually, and I think IELTS would prove definitely whether you have improved or not. Some people improve with fraction, and it's really tricky thing to be said. Like, I would say, well, definitely you've improved your negotiation skills and your speaking, but that is not going to satisfy the purpose of your question. Your question is very complicated to be answered. Is like asking me, or I ask you, Osama, I find you in a pharmacy and I say, if I take this medication, would I be healed from this disease tomorrow? And you would say, it depends. It depends on
Yes.
the dosage. It depends on the digestion.
Frequency,
It
the
depends
right
on
frequency of taking the medicine.
it depends
Yeah.
on the response reaction of your body. It depends. It's a case
Yes.
by case. It depends on the reaction of chemicals. It depends on the timing where you
Yes.
take.
It depends on the commit with the instructions of getting the medicine.
Yes, but the difference between this thing and language is very big. Now, how is it big? That's a very interesting question. And when we talk about language, we are not talking about knowledge, Osama. This is something that is quite misunderstood. Language is not knowledge, it's a skill.
Yes, of course.
Because it's a skill, it takes years to develop. Because you, as a manager, as a successful person, this is a skill that you developed by consecutive failures, by travel, by getting in touch with lots of people. You see?
Yes, that's
So,
the point. The connection with the native peoples.
exactly. Not only native speakers, but non native speakers like me. Just don't marginalize me.
You are native.
I'm not native. I'm
You
just an
are
English
you're
teacher, modestly
semi-native,
speaking.
semi-native.
And so language is a skill, and if we understand that it's a skill, that will reduce, ameliorate. This is a word that has to do with medicine. By the way, you should learn it. Ameliorate. It reduces the effect of frustration, because one of the side effects of learning any language is frustration. And frustration comes from multiple attempts and trials to perfect this language, but ending in vain, just because people feel they cannot run diagnosis on themselves. Some people need to see where they are in terms of language progress, and exams and tests can be a good source of specifying people's level and progress. It is not verbal, but language is not only tests. Tests measure only specific components and improvement. Anyways, let's stop here and
Okay.
shift to our most important part of the lesson of tonight, and that is
Okay.
your my feedback to the essays that you wrote. So I gave you
Okay.
two feedback components here for task one and task two. Let's talk
Okay.
about task one, community service. Tell me how you received my feedback and what kind of response did you get? How did you feel about my feedback, and whether it was overwhelming or it was good, it was eye opening to you? Like, what did you do about it?
Always I receive your comments with optimistically, because you are correcting my I regard it as an optimistic man. I regard it as a tiny obstacles in my say trial. So I taking your advisements and rewrite or resentence the paragraphs that I faced problems in it, maybe in a grammar, maybe in choosing the right word in the right way, and write the sentence again and read it more than one time, and convinced finally that your way in phrasing the paragraph is better than me, and this is the benefit of of you as a teacher and me as a student. So I be very happy of your correction to my essay, and wallahi, to be honest with you, Walid, after correction by using your advisement to my essays, I keep it on my mind just like copy paste, and always be ready to rewrite it without return back to any single sentence to remind it. That's my answer.
Okay, now thank you so much for saying that. Let's open the document on your laptop because there's some kind of problem that I want to address with you that has to do with the administration of the document. I want to
The
explain
last one that I have sent to you.
task 1 community service, the one that you did after feedback.
Yes.
So I sent you my feedback, you sent me the copy, and you said this is the correction, correct? Okay. Now I have some problem here with this document that I want to explain to you to avoid in the coming feedback components later on.
Okay.
Okay. Now the problem is, did you open the document or not?
Yes, I opened it.
Go to the top slide where it says review. It says home, insert, design, layout, reference, mailing, and review. Do you see it?
Review.
Review. On the top ribbon, of Microsoft Word.
I see in the first paragraph the word view and the word not. Am I right here?
On the top ribbon الشريط الفوقي بالمايكروسوفت.
Okay, review.
Review.
Yes.
Now, click on review. Do you see delete?
Yes.
Okay. Now come to the first comment that I gave you, the site comment. Click on, not inside the content, but click on my feedback, the first feedback comment that I gave you on the site to your right.
Yes.
Click on it.
I did that.
Now, do you see?
Now it's dark blue.
Okay, if it's dark blue, go to review and click delete.
Yes. It deleted.
Okay, now what happens and what I want you to do is when I give you feedback on this component, I want you to delete. I want you to delete my comment. Why? Because now what I see that you did not delete the side notes, and it's confusing to me. I need a clean draft. I do not need to see any side comments.
Okay.
In the future, not now, but just remember that when I give you a comment on, like for example, are you sure?
What have done, Walid, when I'm correcting my essay after your advisement or your correction, the side comments disappear.
Well, they are not on my side. For some reason, I'm not seeing your feedback.
You know what I'm doing? I'm taking the essay, corrected essay, and put it on a Word, Microsoft Word, a new page, and then doing the correction. And after that, I send it again to you on Skype. So there is no side comments on the blank page of Microsoft Word.
Do you see the photo that I sent you?
Yeah.
This is what I see on my Microsoft. Now, what happens has multiple interpretations, but what I recommend is that you stick to the document that I
Okay.
sent you,
Okay.
and
I see that. I see that.
you delete the comments on the document that I sent you, and then you send me back the same document. So we do
Yes,
not
I see
share
that.
multiple
Okay.
documents. Now, this is
Agree.
very
Agree.
confusing to me because when I opened it, I was like, what? What is happening? Like he didn't do any comments here or any changes.
Okay. I see that. So, would you like me now to make copy paste for my new corrected essay on this page?
If you can, not on Microsoft, but all the future feedback, all of the future tasks should be done on Google Document. That is where our mutual project is.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so I'll open the document on Google. Do you have access to it or not?
Yes.
Okay, I'll open the document and I want you to copy your new draft
Okay.
to the one that has the title Osama IELTS. Go to the bottom, to the end, to the last page of that document.
Where can I go?
To the end of the page, to the end of that document, probably page 11.
Page 11. In which one? In which page?
Okay, let me share the
Yes,
document.
please. Give me the document. Share with me document. I will prepare IELTS writing.
Give me 1 second, I'm just copying it.
Yes, please. Take your time. I will arrange my essay community service after correction. Yes. Okay.
Do you see come here, Osama?
It is still not opened.
It's
I'm trying to
it's gonna
open
take
it.
some time to download and open, so no hurry. It's page 11.
11, okay. Okay. Now it's opening. I don't know what is the problem. Maybe in internet or maybe my laptop is full
Internet.
with information. So it
It's
takes time, I think, more than
it is
normal
it is
to open
okay.
anything.
It is okay.
Yes, it's starting with the agenda and
Last page, page 11. Go to the
yes,
bottom. I see you now.
yes, this. Okay, this is 9 and this is 10. Now, in page 11, I will put the paste here. Here, of course. Control V. Let me remove the underline. Okay. This is my new corrected essay. Yes. By the way, from
Yeah.
where I can make save in Google document?
It automatically saves the content. You don't have to do the
Ah,
same. Yeah, once
okay,
you
very
log
good.
out, it's going to keep it as the final point that you made in there, that you created in there.
Oh, is there any button for logout, or I just have
You
to
click out, you
press
log
the
out, you
X?
close the browser,
Okay,
and it
okay,
just saves everything. You don't have to worry about it.
okay.
I don't see the paste yet.
Really?
No.
I started with some people consider that the free community services, such as the cleaning of the neighborhood, charity organizations, volunteer campaigns, or imparting the knowledge to the underprivileged have to be mandatory in the high school curriculum. I strongly agree with this view. It will help to make the students socially responsible adults and as well as take part in shaping their character in the future. First, I have to explain my view about that by starting with first, the community services inculcates the responsibility towards the society. For example, cleaning the surroundings, I used surroundings instead of the neighborhood, makes the student never litter wherever he or she is going, and this is your correction by using he or she because I'm talking about the single and non-single. Second, the community services cater some empathy feelings among, not between, because we are talking about more than two, among the people, which contributes, I used contributes instead of take part, which contributes to increasing community ties. I think I was using connections, and it is not right word. So your advice was to use the ties or to use another word. I found that ties is more suitable than
I
connections.
love ties in its academic word.
Thank you. For example, I can say, for instance, also, when teaching the poor children far away, that will enhances human values among members of society and encourage humanitarian work. Now, I want to say that we cannot deny the drawbacks or the disadvantages of the social unpaid services by saying that we cannot deny that some students misuse the time allocated to social services and regarding it as a chance to have a funny time to spend with friends rather than to learn precious thing. I have to put full stop here. We cannot forget that
Now,
some students.
do you see my comment on the word thing, the side comment?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We discussed the word.
Yes.
We discussed the word thing or something. We discussed the word good and the word very. These three words, you should never use them in IELTS writing or speaking.
Okay.
They just mean nothing. So avoid using them. And they are not academic words per se. They're just, I mean, they don't have that quite good linguistic value. So I totally recommend that you avoid using them as much as possible and use alternatives when it comes to addressing any particular thing that has to do with IELTS writing.
Okay. Am I allowed to use service instead of think?
Well, we have so many alternatives like the word service. We have the word. I mean, there's so many words. Not only service, but we have multiple words that we can do here. We can use the word labor. We can use the word service. We can use the word function. We can use the word maintenance. I mean, there are so many words that fits this particular context. So it is highly recommended to use them and avoid using thing.
Okay.
Don't use it.
I see.
Thing,
I see.
very, and good. Don't use these three words in your academic writing.
Okay, agree.
Period.
I remember.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. We cannot forget that some students have no leisure time for exerting the activity rather than the study. Moreover, there are some social activities that have to be done in faraway areas or mountainous places. Therefore, it will. Sorry. So let me just make mute for the TV. Sorry. Sorry. Moreover, there are some social activities that have to be done in faraway areas or mountainous places. Therefore, it will not be suitable for unhealthy students or girls. And the conclusion from my point of view about this essay or this topic, in conclusion, although the voluntary services system has its drawbacks, but it still has advantages in increasing the connections among the society individuals, and I repeat using the connections,
Oh,
and in shaping.
repetition is not preferable in this context, no matter what it is. It is just going it's going to give the evaluator some sort of impression that you ran out of words and you started regurgitating. The word is regurgitating. Regurgitate is a word that we don't often use, but it's an academic word. Regurgitate is when, have you seen these animals where, like cows, for example? It's a bad analogy, but this is a word that we come across all the time in academic field. Cows eat grass, so they swallow grass, and they can bring it back from their stomach to their mouth to digest it, to chew it.
Yeah.
So that process is called regurgitation. So regurgitating, it means like you're bringing back some materials that you already said, but you started trying to digest it again, and in a way that looks like analogous to cows. Pun, pun is not intended. Anyways,
Yes.
pun
Okay.
intended.
Among society individuals and in shaping their characters, in
Uh-huh.
my opinion, the free
When
community services are necessary in the high school syllabus.
when we talk about character, character is a
Yeah.
word that we use normally with actors, where they embrace the character of the villain or
Okay.
um, the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in movies and in TV shows. But when we talk about people, when we talk about their psychology and their existence in society, we call that personality.
Okay.
So the word that I prefer more is personality, not character.
Okay. Yes.
Um, you can say I like your character. You're funny. You have a sense of humor. But the word personality gives more meaningful context here within this when this is with
Deep, meaningful.
yeah. So the point is, in my opinion, be careful about punctuation here, because if you look down in the comment, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, do you see that? Do you
I
see
see
it?
that.
Okay, so task response, your answer, position, ideas, relevancy, and ability to develop ideas. This should be very solid. Coherence and cohesion, the organization and paraphrasing and linking. I want you to highlight the word paraphrasing because we are going to bring it back later. And grammar. This is both your range and accuracy. When we talk about range, is how far you can use grammar without making mistakes, common mistakes. And accuracy is saying, for example, in my opinion, and adding a comma here. So that's part of
Okay.
punctuation, grammar and punctuation. They walk hand in hand, grammar and punctuation. Because without grammar, without punctuation, you will get into very deep water, and you're gonna get stuck in a rut when it comes to saying something, meaning something, and saying something written or spoken without giving the reader a good vision, a good idea about what you really mean. That's why sometimes we make a mistake and say, well, this is not what I meant. Because sometimes we get lost between what our intentions are and what other people's interpretations are. Sometimes we get stuck because our intentions are misinterpreted. So that's why we say we miscommunicated. There is some miscommunication. See, so the point is there might be some miscommunication happening there. And you remember the sentence that I told you about uh, a, a woman without her man is nothing.
Ah, yes, I remember it.
So this isn't a very salient example where punctuation determines the meaning. And when we are writing, we should pay very close attention to that particular part. That punctuation is really significant part of being evaluated and getting higher score in IELTS. Last but not least is a lexical resource, which is the range and accuracy of your vocabulary. Range. When we talk about range, I mean the word range هو المدى. Like how many words you show them, you know. This is the range.
Yeah.
And accuracy within the context of your conversation, because sometimes there are some words that are out there in dictionary, but when they are put in a context, the meaning changes or the function changes.
Okay.
And like I was reading a book by David Christer. He's a famous British author, and he lists around 60 meanings for the word okay. 60,
Wow.
around 60 meanings,
60.
60 meanings and interpretations for the word okay, depending on the context. And that just gives you an idea or impression that not everything we see in dictionary can be used in reality or in real life. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Let me give you a
So
very...
according to my essay, the correction or the second trial of my essay, and the 4 points that you have talked about, what is your assessment for me, Walid?
Let's not rush to assessment at this point. We are building this, but I want to convey the idea that these are criteria that we follow when we are assessing IELTS writing. And sometimes just because I know the word does not mean that I should use it in a context. However, we should be very wary about the meaning of words and whether I'll give you this funny story. I had a director of a program. I worked with a director of a program. She passed away a few years ago. She's an American. And, you know, since we live in Iraq, there's this chance of hiring some unqualified people to work with you, and you have to cope up with this situation. So at some point, this director was in very hot water with another. She had a debate with an Iraqi female teacher. But a debate, not a mild debate, not a heated debate. And at some point, the Iraqi teacher told her, "You are a whore."
Okay.
A whore is it's a prostitute. It's like very negative word. Like when we say this word, we just want to hurt the person that we are talking to. It's like really bad word. Nobody uses this word. The reason she said this word is because she thought that the word whore is equivalent to the word bitch. Yeah, I mean the word bitch nowadays has nothing to do with the word bitch. By the way, the word bitch is a female dog, but sometimes they use it in English for fun. So it does not have very negative meaning. But the word whore has very deep negative connotation. It's like very derogative word. So and insulting. And the Iraqi teacher just memorized this word as a synonym of the word bitch from dictionary and thought that she can use it for fun. And that drove the American teacher crazy. She was crazy. And we had to explain to her that she just learned this word from dictionary and she just said it unintentionally to mean something not quite insulting to you.
Or is the synonym of discussing?
This not quite a synonym. It can fit, but in a different context. So, going back here to the point that I wanted to mention here, that these are the four major criteria on which we rely on to
Yes.
build our essay for academic writing. And you've done great job so far. I think when I look at the introduction of the essay here, I would say for the introduction, for task response, I would give you 7, straight 7.
Yes.
And for coherence and cohesion, I still feel that there's something better that can be done. Grammar, 7.5. And lexical resource, I would give you 6. Now, why lexical resource? It's the range and accuracy of your vocabulary. You know lots of vocabulary, but some of them are not fit in the context. You need to read more to see how these words are incorporated. Because
By the way, you asked me to read more, Waleed, and in the first part of our discussion before starting this lesson for tonight, you mentioned that for anyone want to improve his ability to speak or read or something like that, has to listen 2 to 3 hours a day for English language. But
did I say 3 hours?
Yes, 2 hours or 3 hours, something like that.
In this meeting?
Yes.
I did not say that.
Well, in the beginning, you said that each one has to listening every day or reading some textbook for 2 to 3 hours.
Well, that I should check it out later on because I don't
Okay.
feel that I said that particularly, or I did not mean to say that. By the way, you're confusing reading and writing. They are completely different set of skills. Reading is a receptive skill. It's mahara iktisabiya. So we need when we are reading, it's completely different from productive skill, mahara intajiya, which is speaking.
My question, Waleed, is
Yes.
When can I find the right lessons to improve my listening and my speaking? If you advise me to listen every day for English language, the better English language and the right English language, what is your advisement in this field? What I have to listen and where can I find it?
Well, I can send you a list of sources actually for
Okay,
that.
that's good. That's good.
For that particular part, but I think what we do right now, we're trying to narrow down all the activities like listening and reading and speaking and writing for the purpose of IELTS score. And
Okay.
if we walk away from this purpose, maybe we get lost because there are millions of sources out there, and we just need to stick with the sources that will help us improve the set of skills that we do have in IELTS test taking.
Okay.
Later on, we can work once we have enough time. We can work on improving your general skills and mindset and improving your reading. I'm actually not intending to give you so many reading tasks because I know that you're busy and most of the time that we find together is some sort of like your precious time to work and think of a better chance to improve the IELTS score. However, I think what you can do is probably when you're going to work, when you're coming back from work, what you can do is maximize the amount of you listening to podcasts. Podcast.
Podcast, yes.
And I can send you right now here. Do you use an iPhone
Yes, it's an iPhone.
Perfect. So this is a very good sort of source for listening, and it's very good to help you listen. There's also 6 minutes English podcast, and it's British if you prefer to listen to BBC in the morning. By the way, this is just a complimentary, and I do not recommend you listen to something that you don't like. Just listen to things within your field of interest. Building on
Okay.
that, so there's this for listening, and I don't know, on average every week, how many pages do you read? My question is, on average per week, how many pages do you read?
Not per week, per day, maybe 5 to 10 pages
10 pages,
per
okay.
day.
So perfect.
Yes,
What you can do, I can recommend you some website to
please do.
to help you do some reading improvement, and uh, the kind of recommendations that I do have to recommend to you are all related to IELTS test, particularly because this is where we are keen to work harder on. Going back to my point
Okay.
here, going back to my point, for
Yes.
for this essay, for this essay particularly that we do have, there's quite interesting chance that you're getting 7 plus 6.5 plus
It will be 7. It will be 7.
7.5 plus 6 equals divided by 4. Yeah, it's 6.7. So there's a fraction of improvement over the previous draft that we shared together. So it's still 6.5, but what we need to work on more, it's either 6.5 or 7, because it's half point difference. We should always leave this half point difference, less or more, between my evaluation and IELTS evaluation. But I guarantee you, IELTS will give you a higher score because I'm going a little bit tougher on you in our evaluation here.
I like that. To
Okay.
make me always ready to the easy test, if it will be easy in the IELTS and the real test.
Yeah, that's definitely a necessity that out there. Now, for this test, task number 1, you've done a great job. What I want you to do is just copy task
Okay, I'll do.
number 2 here again after this document.
Yes. Okay.
Confirm with me when you copy it.
Okay. I can do it right now.
Oh yeah, I want you to copy it so we can start talking about it.
Okay.
Now we finished.
Writing.
We finished task number 1, and I gave you the evaluation for that, and you've done great minor
Ventures.
progress. I mean, it's not a big of a deal, but it's the last one you got around 6 to 6.5. Now you got 6.7. On the second draft. But remember something, we spend longer time editing this one. In IELTS test, you only get a chance to do it in 40 minutes. So you should keep that in mind.
Yes. This is the second one. I'm choosing job. Do you allow me to start reading?
Give me 1 second to refresh the page.
Okay. By the way, if I have to do a Duolingo test this week
Duolingo?
or the next. Yes. Could you help me by sending me just examples about the real test of Duolingo? Do you have something like that?
I really don't use Duolingo, and I don't believe that their tests are valid 100%.
Okay.
It's just these kind of tests are short, and shorter tests are not necessarily telling people about their real level. These are designed for commercial purposes and attracting audience to work with the website and to register their account there. Anyways, there are better tests. This is one that I recommend people taking it, and there are two types of it. There's the 15 minutes. I think I sent it to you some time ago. Let me just
Okay. EFID. EFID.
This is well, you need to create an account. It's very normal. You can log
Yeah.
in with your Gmail and
Okay.
take this test. This test is for 1 hour, so whenever you feel free to check your level, you can take this test. It's for 1 hour, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and this is a test that can determine better uh, your English level, because the longer the test, the more diverse items the test has, the better chance it will determine your level better. And
Okay.
most of the tests determine up to 85% of the real level of people.
How much the single test will cost me?
It's free.
Okay. Duolingo cost me in each time $50, 50 American dollar.
Why would you have to pay for that when um, we say why milking the cow when you have uh,
It's a long story. Before I starting to connecting with you about IELTS, I will tell you about it
okay.
later.
Anyways, so
Okay.
that's for the let's resume reading.
Okay.
The second essay here.
Yes.
When choosing
When
a
choosing
job,
a
the
job,
salary is the most
yes.
important consideration. To what extent do you agree or disagree?
Yes. I started by many people believe that the wigs is the most crucial factor. I used crucial instead of important.
Okay.
A crucial factor of making a decision for a career, and use career instead of a job.
Uh-huh.
And also make sorry?
Uh-huh. Keep going.
Yes. Yes, and making a decision instead of choosing. So I totally disagree with this view because there are many reasons that affect job selection. First, sometimes the seeking instead of searching or looking for. The seeking for experience in the workplace is preferred on the salary consideration, especially for those junior graduated employees.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Second,
Okay, so
Hello?
yes, I'm losing your voice for 1-2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yes. Especially for those junior graduated